Struggling to find a way to position this camera. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Navoya, and today I'm going to be doing a video on how I passed my practical test first time round. And it was a testimony because a lot happened. So let's get into the video. But before we start, I'd just like to give a huge thank you to everyone that showed support to how I passed my theory test in less than 24 hours. I really appreciate that. So let's get on. If I'm looking down, it's because I've got a few notes because try is so on June 28th last year, 2021, I passed my theory test, and the moment I passed, I called a company called Passing Fast, and they do crash courses where you can literally do like 30 hours in a week. It's up to you. You can do like 4 hours a day, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. So I just wanted to be quick because I passed my theories. I just thought if I do a crash course, boom, I can do my test, and yeah. So I called them up, and I was looking to do 20 hours for £860. So they said they'll find me an instructor, and then I was thinking to space out in 2 weeks to do 20 hours. So they said they'll get back to me, and they did not. So I paid £150 upfront cost, and then once they found my instructor, I paid the remaining. So I was there waiting. It's like the end of July now, still no response. I was emailing them, calling them, no response. They just weren't communicating. And so like, instead of me wasting time, let me just look around and see other instructors. So I was calling around saying, have you got any available instructors? And I managed to find one in the Drive Johnson. So on July 14th, so from June till July, that's how long I was waiting. So I just took it on my own hands and went ahead with Drive Johnson in the meantime, so that way I can be getting experience on the road, so it's nothing new when it comes to the crash course. So I just thought like a temporary 2 weeks just to get to the road. So after my first assessment of Drive Johnson, he literally took me to drive around, just see where my level was at, see what experience, see what I need to do, and we discussed that we'll do about 30 hours for £730. It's fine. So the instructor that I had, he was very, very, very good. He was so considerate. He would ask my availability, he would work around my schedule. So every lesson at the end, he'd be like, what's the availability for next week? So I done 2 days a week, 2 hours per lesson. And each lesson he would ask like, hey, what do you need to work on? What do you want to focus on? And I struggled for the roundabouts. I really, really struggled with it. When it comes, it's like, what do I do? He broke it down, and it's a thing where you feel comfortable to like tell him what you need to work on. He wouldn't move on until you're comfortable, do you know what I mean? So we can literally spend 10 lessons on roundabouts, and he'll be patient and understanding, because at the end of the day, he's there to help you become a driver. Sorry, the dog. And yeah, he's just very understanding. So the few things that we covered were moving off, stopping, turning left, turning right, emergency at T-junctions, meeting, clearance, anticipation, turning in the road, pedestrian crossing, crossroads, emergency stop, reversing the left, parallel parking, bay parking, forward bay parking, pulling up on the right, roundabouts, mini roundabouts, overtaking, dual carriageways, and mock tests, and show me family questions. So the thing is, every lesson is different. It's like, as much as a good driver you are, you don't know what you're going to come across on the road. Like, you can be driving for 10 years, really good driver, but what you come across, reckless drivers, you can't predict that. So that was a scary thing, because every time I have a lesson, it'll go well. One mistake I do would throw me off of the whole lesson, which was so annoying because I just couldn't help it. I just gave up. And there were so many times where I just wanted to, this is not for me, I'd come home, just go to bed, and I'm like, this is a bad lesson, and just hold on. So then continuing with that, I just told myself not to give up, to keep pushing. And prior to those lessons, I'll drive with my mom as well. So what I learned from the lessons, I'll go drive with my mom and be learning those as well. Like with the parkings, we'll go to a car park, practice, and just tackle it. Yeah, and it wasn't easy at all. It was not easy at all. It was like, I had uni at the same time. I just wanted to get this over and done with once and for all, because after you pass your theory, you've got 2 years to do your practical. But then if those 2 years end and you have to do your theory again. So in a way, it kind of pushed me. And Passing Fast finally got back to me about my test date. So my test date was the 22nd of October. And they said I can move it forward if I want, or move it closer. I was like, you know what? October 22nd, literally 4 days after my birthday, so let me keep it as that, like a gift to myself, my 21st birthday. Let me actually work towards it, and I can do it. So they gave me a test date now, but still no instructor, so I still went ahead with the instructor from Drive Johnson. So literally, like, even everything we're done, it's like I'd have the hang of it. A different day will come out my mind. It's like different day, but wait, what am I saying? What am I trying to say? Be like, I don't know. I just slip on some areas. I'd wait. So I went ahead and continued with my instructor from Drive Johnson whilst I was waiting for instructor from Passing Fast, and everything, I just started to pick up on everything, multitasking, putting everything together. Some days my mind won't be there, and that actually played a key role. I think that's the issue and problem I was facing. It's like when my mind wasn't there, it affected my driving. Like I'd miss the simplest things, like turning. I'd look and then I'd go and then I'd slam the brakes for me to stop because there would be a car coming. I'd be like, what did I, like my mind would be just blank. So it wasn't even me controlling myself, if that makes sense. So it's a lot. It's like one time I was even driving in an area, and the area is quite sensitive, and I literally was just speeding non-stop. I don't know what, I wasn't aware of what I was doing. A motorbike was coming, I was still speeding. I lost it, and after he slammed the brakes, he was asking me like, what happened. I was just there like, I don't know where my mind was at. It's not easy at all. So that moment I literally went home. I was even contemplating, I even drafted the message like I was about to send him, so I just didn't want to continue anymore. But then I just told myself, you know what, I've got the deadline of October, let me just see what I can do. Don't let the bad days affect the rest of your life. Do you know what I mean? It's just a bad day, it's not a bad life. You can still overcome it. Like you're bigger and better than problems, small obstacles. So if I'm able to cancel that, like, it's like I'm gonna live in regret. I'd rather try and fail than just live with regret. So yeah, that's the same thing. Like each time you drive, you're gonna come across different obstacles, different challenges. You can even take the same route, but it will never be the same journey, if that makes sense. So that's what happened. And he'll do like little, give little abbreviations of what to do. Like he'll tell me, don't be shy to say out loud, like instruct yourself, like, okay, cool, I'm about to turn left, put the clutch down, brake a little bit, literally talk it out. But me, I wasn't comfortable with that, so I didn't do that. And yeah, so yeah, with the parkings, I don't know, because when we're doing parkings, we all learn differently, but when he was instructing me, I did not understand anything. It literally will say it to me, come out my head, and then I'll do it, but then he'll be like, oh, how did you do that? Because he would mark it on the window saying, at this point, turn the steering wheel at 90, a hole and a half, times. I was just like, So when I started doing it, I was just doing it, and then he was like, how did you do that? I'm just like, I can't lie, I just guessed. So it's one of them ones where like you just I don't know, because every time it was funny because people were like, okay, cool, what reference points did you use? I was like, can't I just guess? And at some point, like, okay, cool, just keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, the more you practice, the more you get comfortable, and you just kind of know automatically what to do. And also, I forgot to mention I was doing manual, and it was reaching towards the test day. This is now fast forward to October. My 30 hours had finished. He asked if I wanted to top up, because he said I was test ready, but just keep practicing with my mom and I'll be able to polish everything. So he asked if I wanted to do more. I was like, you know what, yeah. So I managed to do an additional 10 hours for £250. With these 10 hours, we did literally do mock tests back to back to back, just polishing up on anything. So the mock test would be able to show me a rough idea if I'd pass or not. The word mock test threw me off so much. Every time it would come in the car, right, mock test, I would fail. Like, the first time I said it, I stalled just before we left off. That was a fail. And then like the second time, it was all well until I got to like an industrial side and a huge lorry was coming. It stopped and I thought, okay, cool, I can just drive through, because they always emphasize that you need to be a confident driver. Show you got confidence, because if you don't, it shows that you're hesitating, and that can affect your points, like your score. So I just thought, okay, cool, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna show that I'm confident. I'm a confident girl. So I went in, and afterwards, at the end, it was like, do you think you passed or failed? I was like, I'm not sure. And then it's like, you're gonna kick yourself for this, and it was a fail because of that action. So in a way, I was just going like deep, like, what? So when do I show confidence? When do I show this? So same applying with overtaking. I'd hesitate to overtake because I'm still thinking, am I going to fail? Just a lot, because I have a tendency of overthinking. Even at the end of that, he would talk to me and be like, I saw that you wanted to overtake the car, but you were hesitating. So me, I was lost as well. Testing was coming up. I was like, hey, cool, do I go ahead and do what I think is right? But then it's seen as not safe to their guidelines, or I don't know, I was just so confused. I was lost, but I just wanted my go and just done what I can. So now, so October was a whole different month. I've moved out for uni, so I've come on home, going back to uni. So when I came home, this was around the 4th of October, still doing my lessons here, and I started getting a mad headache. Like, it started like at the top of my head here. I was like, this does not feel normal. I went to sleep, woke up. It's like I had a heartbeat in my head. Like the whole of the inside of me was spinning. I couldn't move. I literally lied down on the sofa. My phone was on my chest. I felt so weak. I couldn't even pick up my phone. My sister even helped me like drink water. I felt so weak. I couldn't move. I felt like I was dying. And then I was like shivering like I was cold, but I was really hot. I didn't think any of it. I just thought, okay, could be a fever,